Hey, everybody, I'm so excited. So, this is the new season, second season of Elite Minds podcast. And I decided to attempt and go video route. So, here we are, going to video and put it on YouTube and also put it out on Apple Podcasts and all the other forms. And I'm very lucky because my first guest for this season is a very good friend, Clarita Escalante. And initially, when I asked Clarita to be on, I was like, oh, we'll just talk about parenting. But I really feel like things just need to evolve and do whatever. So, hi, Clarita. I want to introduce you. And also, I want to tell people that Clarita and our good friend Krista and I are doing a retreat in October, which is my first hosting retreat. And I'm a little nervous about that, but it should be fun. You want to start with that a little bit, Clarita, and kind of you've hosted a couple before. So let's just chat a little about what people can expect and why they should pick coming to ours.
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you so much for bringing me back to your incredible podcast. And I love conversating with you. So I know it's going to be an amazing conversation. And my name is Clarita Escalante. I am a certified transformational nutrition health coach, along with other things as well. But yes, the retreat has been something so in my heart and in my soul. I actually attended a retreat a few years back, and it actually changed my life. I know that it's kind of hard to wrap your head around and said, a few day retreat like really changed your life. And I'm like, yes, I have never experienced that before. I have never attended a retreat in over 40 plus years in my life at that time. And I thought it was such an amazing space that people hold to really have those conversations that we need to have on a regular basis, but we don't because of life. And I thought I came back from that retreat a totally different person. And that motivated me. And that was one of the, like, I call it like it planted a seed in me. And I'm like, I want to do this with my community as well. I want to hold space and I want to create this environment in this space again where we can come together as we are and they can experience different modalities, resources, and tools that is going to help their overall life, not only for themselves but for the people around them as well.
Yeah, no, I love that. And that when you just talked about, like, I'm very excited for ours because we have so many interesting people coming with with different modalities, like the human design. I don't even know, but I'm very excited for that. And some of the other stuff that we all can offer. But I loved how you had mentioned holding space. And that's something that I just turned 49, but that's like kind of new to me. I really learned more about exactly what holding space means last year. Sad to say. I mean, it's definitely something I had been doing. I just didn't know that's what it kind of was. But I love that because I feel like um, not a lot of us, especially in the adult age, have somebody that will holding space. For me, it's more like just somebody being there to listen to you and just hold that openness without judging, without commenting, without interjecting advice and all of that. Not that we don't welcome it, but sometimes that's not what we need at the moment. And I love the fact that a retreat like this, like you said, one thing you've learned with doing these retreats is knowing what the people there need. It's not about following the agenda to a T and all of that. It's going with the flow, basically holding that space. When something's working and people are feeling and needing, you just stay and you just go and you feel the energy and the people and what they need. And I love that about your take on it. And that is really what made me say, oh, I could totally do this with you because I am not an agenda follower. Those stress me out.
And you know what? I am kind of like an agenda, like, you know, geek on it. And we have an agenda that we
Yeah.
created. But I feel that based on my past experience when it comes to retreats, some retreats were, well, all of the retreats were amazing, but I was able through that experience be able to take the things that really make a difference in my life and bring them into our retreat. And one of the things that I noticed is that on some of the retreats, they were just so on the agenda. And it
Mhm.
kind of like gave me like stress, like anxiety. And you can see how the conversation was going so well, or the session was going so well, and then they would just cut it right there and then so they can go on to the next. I
Yeah.
At that point I felt that like a to-do list, that it, and that was something that I really did not want to bring into my retreat. And it was a really good learning experience, and it just didn't felt aligned. And I think it's going to be amazing coming to our retreat. There are going to be things that we have on the agenda, but at the ultimate, we're here to hold space for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so excited for that. I wanted to ask you, so since we're on the topic of holding space, you have adult daughters,
Mhm.
and I know when we think back as parents, we can think of when they're little, they're toddlers and things like that. You kind of hold that space when they're throwing a tantrum and you just hold them, or you just sit and watch them, like, work it out. That's like the mom version of holding space. How how do you do it now?
Mhm.
And, in their adulthood, how do you, I mean, I'm assuming you've got to do that, right? I have a 28-year-old daughter. I feel like boys and girls, maybe it's a little different. I don't know. How do you do that? And do your daughters recognize when you're doing it? Do you talk about that, or do you just notice you do it because that's just what moms do? And you're like, oh, I did hold space for her without consciously saying, let me hold space for you.
It was something that I learned through my own journey of healing in the past 4 years. It was not something I did before. So I want to be, I mean, totally transparent. I was just like on this agenda of telling them what to do. And when they were coming to me, just, just to tell me how their day was or any issues or challenges, or if they wanted an opinion, I would jump directly into trying to fix it.
Mm,
And now, going through all of this amazing journey, now I know what it is to hold space. And I'm not only practicing on myself and in my business, but also with my family. Does the old Clarita comes back? Yes. But now I realize it and now I have that awareness. And sometimes I'll just do it. And then I'm like, no, that was not what I intended to do. And I ask my daughters most of the time is like, do you want me to listen to you, or do you want my opinion on it? And I think that it's just so important because most of the times, you see, what I notice now is that they just want to be listened to. That's
yeah.
it.
I absolutely agree with you, and that is actually what kind of taught me what holding space was. Really solidifying that last year is just being there without giving the advice. But I love that you ask, because yeah, I'll do that now when I'm with friends or somebody. I'm like, what do you need right now? You want me to hear you vent? Do you want me to respond? Like, what do you need? And I think that's so important. I love that you do that. Do you notice, like, so since you're married, it's probably something very, very hard for men, right?
Oh
How's your husband do? Is he okay with that? Like, have you had to teach him, like, "Hey, I just need you to listen. Do not try to fix my problem."
yes. Oh my God. Yes. And I think most of the time, as humans, we just need to be listened to because we already know what we need to do. We
Yeah.
just need to vent in a way. And I feel like that has been such an amazing like learning experience for all of us, like my
Mhm.
husband, my daughters, and everything. I'm like, no. we just need to listen to each other. And I think once you practice, it's kind of like a muscle, you know, you have to, like, it's a muscle that you need to work on, like exercising, you need to keep practicing, and it's going to keep coming back, but you have to be consistent on it. And again, I do that. I do notice myself sometimes going into that rabbit hole, and I'm like, no, no, all they want is to just be listened to. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. What So through all that and through your journey, and I guess I will just say, or maybe I'll let you share really quick what your journey has been the last 5 years, just so people listening right now know that. I'll let you share that before I ask my next question.
Yeah, I was actually diagnosed with breast cancer 5 years ago, actually, April 2nd of this year. So I have been cancer free for 5 years. And that led to the journey that I am now. Going going back to school, studying nutrition, and trying to just really get a hold of my health and never hear that word cancer again. And I thought at that time nutrition was just going to solve it all. And as I embarked in that journey, I realized that there was a lot to be done. I needed to go back and heal my trauma and my childhood trauma. And that opened the door to the business that I currently have, where I share my journey to wellness, to healing. And now we're like hosting retreats and just really sharing our journey and our expertise. And it has been such an amazing and incredible journey.
Yeah. So through all that you've learned then, and knowing what you know now, versus 6 years ago,
Mm.
how are you having conversation differently with your family? More importantly, your daughters, because obviously, I think I heard in one of your messages that this was a first in your family. So
Yes.
it's not like you were expecting or thinking maybe. It was like, whoa, where did this come from? So how are you now working with your daughters and educating them? Just all of that. What are you doing differently for them in the way you're teaching and just helping them live life?
Yeah, I actually, at the beginning of my journey, when I went back to school, studying nutrition, I changed everything, obviously, in my life. And I wanted to do the same thing for them. I wanted them, if I was eating kale, for example, they were eating kale as well. If I was taking this supplement, they were doing the same thing. And then soon I realized that that was my journey. That was my own journey. And I feel if you are a parent, sometimes the best thing we can do, and at least this is my own personal opinion, is just do the thing. Show them
Mm,
what health looks like. Show them the journey that you are on. And I feel that was such an amazing realization because it have done wonders. When I was pushing my journey to them, it was just not working out at all, and I just kept doing the same thing, hoping that it one day it was just gonna be amazing. And no, when I switched that to I'm just going to share my journey with them, the same that I'm doing with my clients and in my business and with my friends. I feel that that is when you can really, again, go back, hold space for someone,
mm,
show them what you're doing, and then let them choose the things that they need for their own journey, because we are on totally different journeys. We have totally different goals. We're a totally different person. And at the beginning of my journey, I thought, no, what I'm doing is what it is. And no, it's not. And I'm just so glad that I was able to switch that, because now my girls come and ask questions in reference to the things that are aligned with them, with the goals that we have. And I think it's just so amazing. And I feel like it's working even better.
yeah. I love that because if you think about it, that's that whole preface of lead by example.
Exactly.
Yes. If they can absorb it on their own and know that it's what suits and aligns with them, like you said, then they're more inclined to stick with it, want to be educated in it, and all of that. So I love that. That probably that's probably a good piece of advice for even moms with young kids. Like, don't make them eat the peas. Give them something else. Like maybe it's broccoli.
And in it, I mean, it is a hard one. Being a parent, you want to help your kid. You don't want them to suffer. You don't want you want them to be the best versions of themselves. And I think it's just amazing. But what I have learned is that you have to also respect their own journey, their own needs, and it's different. And one book that, if you're a parent, well, if you're a human being, but especially a parent, I think this is an amazing book to read. It's called Loving What It Is by Brian Katie.
Okay.
And I that book just like literally transformed some of the thinking that I had around my kids and around trying to like protect them from everything, doing everything for them without really acknowledging that they're a totally different person. They have totally different goals, and just respect their space in who they are. So I mean, I remember before I would tell the girls, go to school, be whoever you want to be and do all this and do that and do this. But I think it's more inspirational. It's more, motivational, and I feel like a really impact on your kids when you really go after your own dreams and work on yourself to be the best version of yourself, the best parent. And
Yeah.
I think that's when it really makes a difference on your kids, when you're leaving instead of saying something. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. No, it totally makes sense. It reminds me of this picture that I saw long ago. My twins were probably 2 when I saw this picture, and it was this mom in the background doing push-ups. And the caption said it was something like, "Never quit, you don't know who's watching." And you could see in the background her 2 littles like peeking around a doorway watching her 2 little kids. And that's totally truth. I mean, I'm glad you went there because I was going to ask you, being or really getting into that entrepreneurial space, which is kind of a nightmare in itself, right? That's a whole nother mind game. But because you're still keeping a full-time corporate job right now, and you've been doing your business, has it been, I probably will get this wrong, 2 or 3 years? 2 years.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, and you've launched products and you continue to pump out podcasts and show up on social. I look at you and I'm like, oh my God, she's like the best entrepreneur, like person that's present. And then I forget, I'm like, oh my God, that's right. She has a corporate job right now still. And I struggle to do half of what you do, and I don't have the corporate job. So I love that you brought this up because I know one of your daughters for sure is very entrepreneurial.
Yes.
Is the other one? I don't, is she
Um,
still in school?
she wants to too.
Okay.
She's getting yeah, she's getting started on something that is coming soon. But yeah, she's on that path.
So do you think that your girls would be where they are or doing what they're doing right now if you had not started your own entrepreneurial, if you just stayed corporate and that was life and you just do it, come home, the norm, where do you think they'd be?
Probably not. And I say that, and I wanted it. I hesitated because I'm like, do I'm giving them credit for what they're doing? But probably not. That's how I feel right now because all all of the things that I have done, they have told me it had actually inspired them. And just they both went to school. So my oldest daughter went to NAU, study psychology, so she has her bachelor's in that. The youngest one is about to graduate from ASU in photography, videography, and all of this technology. And they were just going to follow a corporate job. They were just going to go like I did,
Yeah.
went to school, went to college, and got my corporate job and just call it a day, and nothing wrong with that. I just want to say that it was just after my cancer diagnosis, I knew there was something in for me. There was a bigger purpose on it. And I often talk about this, and I said that I see it as a gift, as in a beautiful gift that came to me, wrapped in that incredible challenge. But now I can go
It
back and see.
wasn't the prettiest of wrapping paper.
But now I see it like a gift because I knew since I was young, Susie, that I was meant like that I was meant to impact people. Like it was just something that I knew I had in me.
Yeah.
I thought going to school, I was in child protective services in the past, and now I'm in the financial corporate world. But I thought that was how I was going to impact people. And it just came again after my cancer diagnosis. And it's just such a beautiful experience. And I think that did impact my daughters a lot.
Yeah. So, a small thing that I don't want to say I'm struggling with it, but ironically, yes, as moms, we are so proud when our kids, well, for me, as long as they're happy in their career, I couldn't ask for like a better success, right?
Yes.
But I will say this, my oldest daughter, 28, she just recently left her corporate job, if you will, to pursue her entrepreneurial. She does money mentoring for youth. I love that, but also I'm terrified because I know the journey. I know the struggles. I know the ups, the downs, the loneliness, the stuff. And I know that she's doing it with a 1.5-year-old and a baby due in a couple months. So, and I'm super terrified, but super supportive. I don't try to show the, oh God, I'm moving and horrified. I don't show that. She'll know now. But what was your take when, because you're obviously 2 years in the journey, knowing what you need to do, you probably thought about it before you really pulled the trigger. You are one of the people that don't just say, I'm out, leave the corporate job. So you still have that security a little. How are you feeling about the girls? Are you like, yeah, let's do it now, I'm grateful? Or do you worry?
I mean, as a mom, if I would say I don't worry, I will be lying. But I try to keep my limited beliefs as much as possible with my own limited beliefs. And I feel that kids now are so resilient.
Yeah.
They're just, I mean, maybe technology, maybe all of the things, they're just a different generation. And I feel that I always try to remember that. And when Stephanie left her corporate job, she's like, I'm just going to give my 2-week notice, which is my youngest one, and just go and pursue my entrepreneur. And I was just like, yeah. And I was like, oh. And,
Yeah.
but inside of me, I was like way more excited, Susie, because
Okay.
I knew that that path was going to stretch her, is going to make her grow, and is going to make her like live the life that she truly
Yeah.
wants. And I feel that entrepreneurship it could be a lonely road, like you said, or path. It could be a challenging one, but I feel like it's going to be, for me, in my own opinion, is the most rewarding one, because it has stretched me like nothing else
Yeah.
that I have done in
Oh,
my
yeah.
whole entire life. From even like going on and sharing my story on stages and being like so like nervous and having all this fear, like sweating like bullets.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, just seeing the impact by people sharing, how my story motivate them, inspire them, or that was exactly what they needed to hear at that moment. And that was just so, it's just so rewarding. So I know for your daughter and for mine and for anyone that is listening, if they have children that want to pursue that entrepreneurship, support them and support them in that mission, because their lives are going to be so much enriched because it's going to be aligned, you know, that life is going to be aligned with their lifestyle, with their goals that they want to pursue. And I feel sometimes we get alignment, we get it a little bit wrong. We think if it's in alignment, it should go smooth, you know, and it's not. Alignment just means that you're living your true life, but there's going to be challenges. It's called life. There's going to be things that are going to come out, but I
Yeah.
think that the end is just going to be so amazing.
Yeah. No, you couldn't have said it better. I'm totally with you. Yeah, support them for sure. You know, making sure that, like you said, it is something they are very interested in. I mean, I suppose you have a kid that's trying 80 different things and they're not sure with no like backup job. They'd never move out.
No.
Oh. Oh my God, that's so funny. So I want to I know we got a little late start, but I want to wrap up with one quick question. So, if you could give your 20-year-old self one or two pieces of advice, what would you say?
Oh my God. Many come to mind, but I would say one that I often talk about is compassion. And that even gives me the chills because I feel sometimes we're on this rush of getting to this place and not feeling enough, not feeling that we need all these things in order to live the life that we want. And I said compassion, it's such an amazing feeling to feel, you know. And I think once you feel that compassion for yourself, you can extend it to other people and you can live a more content, more joyful life. And then I think second will be that you are where you're supposed to be. Sometimes we don't want to be in that position, but I feel like there's always learnings, there's always
Yeah.
opportunity. We're supposed to be there. Sometimes it's just hard to understand, especially going back to my journey of being diagnosed with cancer. I didn't understand why, but that event led me to literally gave me the courage to step into the person that I am now today.
Yeah.
So I think knowing that you are where you're supposed to be. I mean, I'm not saying that, oh, I'm just here, whatever. No, still going after your dreams, you know, doing all the things that you're
Yeah.
supposed to, moving that needle forward, but at the same time, having that grace and having that assurance that you are there because you are supposed to be there.
Yeah. I love that you said there's always a learning
Mhm.
because for me, I'm master certified in neurolinguistics, and one of the things I can do is we can do some trauma work with the subconscious mind. And it was
Mhm.
always interesting to me because if I walk you through that process, what we do is we allow the subconscious to kind of pick the trauma. We just, what is it? And it decides. And then we walk you to it. And what you do is you kind of like float above it and you get a learning. And I tell you, like, you get that learning. And then what you do is you take that learning from back in your past, you go to that trauma, get the learning you're supposed to have from it, and you bring it forward and you kind of like just drop it everywhere else there was a little bit of a trigger or a bit more of that sort of trauma. You drop it everywhere in your timeline that that big trauma had an impact, right? And it creates a really more smooth, no triggers in that aspect, I suppose, if I could explain it in that way. I don't know if
Mhm.
that makes sense, but so it
Yeah.
just reduces that. So when we talk about helping with traumas through neurolinguistics, it's not that we're removing them. It's just a means to take the learning that helps your brain understand why, which then reduces the effect of that trauma on you. So I love that because you're so right. Everything we go through and do, if you really sit back and go, God, that was super crappy, but then
Mhm.
you think about what you learned from it, well, that super crappy experience or situation very well may have saved your life later or helped you help another person never go in that path, right? So I think it's a great way to look at things. It's that amazing, reframing kind of different perspective of, well, what can I learn from that shit show?
Yes.
I love that. I'm so glad you were here and so fun. And I can't wait till next week with our mastermind with the horses.
Oh my God, I am so excited. And this is just like another thing to remind you guys that entrepreneurship doesn't have to look alone, doesn't have to look like competitive and all of those things. It could also be like you, Krista, and Dr. Fletcher, we come together and we share our challenges, we celebrate our wins, and we just support each other.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just such an amazing way of supporting us on a could be a lonely, path. It is true because once we come apart, we just focus on our own business. But I'm just so happy that I have you in my life. You have been such a gift on my entrepreneurship and on a personal life as well. So I'm just honored to be here.
I agree. So yeah, anyone listening, whether you're entrepreneuring, you're lifing, you're mommying, create
Yeah.
a small niche of people that you don't have to always be together. What sometimes we don't see each other but that once a month. We'll communicate. We're our little group of 4 of us, a text, I think at one point I text and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm just like really struggling today. I feel like a loser." And I get all the support from you guys. And it's like, "Okay, I can do this, one more day." and
Yeah.
I know we all have that. And I love when you guys pop in. It's like, "I got this speaking," or "I've been given a book deal." It's so amazing because it keeps me going. And I hope I do the same for you. So I think anyone out there, find a business bestie or just a bestie in life that doesn't necessarily have to, be that bestie in the way you think a best friend is.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh my
You know,
God, yes. You're such an amazing cheerleader. And I love the fact that we are so supportive, but we don't need to be there all the time.
Mhm.
And we can just pick up where we left and continue
Yeah,
on. Yeah.
you're right. I like that. Find a cheerleader.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so fun. So tell the people tell our friends out there where they can find you and like what your big offer right now, because I know you have something pretty awesome right now.
Yes, yes. I have what's going on right now in my business is I just released my first ritual box. The second one is coming soon. This first one is sold out. Thank
Oh,
you so much, everyone who supported me. I just appreciate you. So the second one is coming. It's going to be more of a membership base. You can do a one-time purchase or sign up for a membership. I also have the wellness journal and oh my God, which is a journal and a planner as well. I have a few special editions coming this year. So I'm so
exciting.
excited for them. We have the retreat coming up in Sedona
Mhm.
from October 20th through the 22nd. Send us a DM, send us a message, and we'll be more than glad to answer any questions for you. And then I have in-person events coming up. So live podcasting events as well, where you can come in if you're in Arizona.
That's right. We do have them scheduled.
You and I have one, and I have a few, and it's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah.
Just to sit and just listen. There's gonna be Q&A questions, so you can ask away with that. Ask away, and yeah, there's just so many other things coming in the future for me. I'm gonna be more of a product-based company, just bringing organic, holistic, just really healthy ingredients, products that are going to enrich your life. And then I'm going to sprinkle myself with retreats and in-person events. So I'm just super excited. You can listen to my podcast, which is anywhere you listen to a podcast. It's the Clarita Escalante Show podcast. And then you can follow me on Instagram. And my handle is the_Clarita_Escalante.
Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you so much. And I mean, I can't wait to put this out. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Thank you so much.